Severe weather. Flood watches. Gale force wind warning. Damaging winds. Various flood warnings. There's Force 13's regional AU channel with the latest on the developing but severe weather system. 45 to 70 millimetres of rain forecast for Melbourne. Is Melbourne about to register a new October daily rainfall record? Heavy rain also heading for Tasmania. Second massive rain event to hammer Victoria and New South Wales. Bureau Meteorology has updated a top priority severe weather warning for heavy rainfall, damaging winds for a fair slice of Victoria. Deep low pressure system south of the Great Australian Bight is forecast to extend a strong cold front over Western Victoria late today before it slowly shifts eastward over central parts of the state during Thursday. The system is forecast to combine with a deep tropical air mass to cause widespread areas of heavy rainfall across the western and central parts of the state and damaging winds across elevated terrain. Heavy rainfall may lead to flash flooding forecast for the northern and western Victoria overnight Wednesday, extending to the central and northeastern parts during Thursday morning. The risk about much of Melbourne is most likely late Thursday afternoon and evening. Rainfall rates are expected to ease from the west during Thursday night, clearing Friday morning. 6-hourly rainfall totals between 30 to 50 millimetres, isolated heavier falls to 65 millimetres, 24-hour totals during Thursday expected to reach 50 to 80 millimetres with isolated totals up to 120 millimetres over the higher terrain. Heavy rainfall will also increase the potential for landslides and debris across roads, and landslides are already impacting, I think it's New South Wales or Victoria. North to northeasterly winds, damaging wind gusts, peak gusts 90 to 100 kilometres an hour possible over elevated terrain across central and eastern Victoria, reaching up to 110 kilometres an hour about the exposed alpine peaks from Thursday morning, easing from the west Thursday evening, clearing during Friday morning. Locations which may be affected: Mildura, Horsham, Bendigo, Shepparton, Seymour, Maryborough, Ballarat, Geelong, Melbourne, Wodonga and Wangaratta. Flood warnings are also in place. Strong wind warning, Port Phillip Bay, the central and east Gippsland coast. Now we go to New South Wales. They have a similar warning: damaging winds, heavy rainfall, southwest slopes, the Riverina, the lower western, the snowy mountains in the ACT. Heavy rainfall, flash flooding forecast for southwestern New South Wales from tonight into Thursday, extending eastward onto the western alpine slopes from Thursday afternoon. 6-hourly rainfall totals between 30 to 50 millimetres likely, with isolated falls. Heavier falls up to 65 millimetres. Strong winds averaging 63 kilometres an hour. Damaging wind gusts of around 110 kilometres an hour possible over the alpine areas. 1,500 metres from Thursday afternoon, clearing during Friday morning. Locations that may be affected: Albury to Nillucran, Hay, Wentworth and Balronald and Tumbarwumba. Now, Tasmania is going to be hit hard. Top priority severe weather warning for much of the state, or the top half of Tasmania, including the Fianany Islands, excluding the King Island. So basically it's the top of Tasmania. Devonport, Burnie, Launceston, St Helens, Swansea and Stratham. Initial flood watch remains in place. Strong wind warning, Storm Bay, the central north coast, Bank Strait, Franklin Sound, east of Flinders Island, the upper east, lower east, southeast, southwest coast. For Thursday, a strong wind warning for much of South Australia. Now we have a look at the latest Bureau's rainfall information. The rainfall scale, right hand side of the screen. And recapping, deep low pressure system south of the Great Australian Bight is forecast to extend a strong cold front over Tasmania during Thursday, and tropical air mass to cause widespread areas of heavy, locally intense rainfall. State warned of flooding chaos amid torrential downpour. Flash flooding could see thousands of residents cut off and isolated for 72 hours as one state braces for torrential downpours. A rain ban stretching from southern New South Wales down to South Australia will bring a flash flooding risk that could cut off some Victorians for up to 72 hours. And this is a developing weather system. The Bureau's total forecast rain, and it's the area in dark green through to blue. Rainfall totals of up to 50 millimetres likely in southern New South Wales, north of the Victorian Ranges and northern Tasmania during today. The weather is expected to worsen Thursday in Victoria as that state braces for flooding with up to 80 millimetres of rain expected. Emergency services will be deployed to multiple regions including Wimmera, Victoria's west, as well as residents along the Avoca, London, Campsie rivers. The Premier of Victoria, Daniel Andrews, said yesterday morning catchments were completely full and any additional rain could trigger floods. But it's not a minor rain event that we're forecasting. There will be significant rainfall in certain parts of the state, and that poses a flooding risk to communities in lots of different places. The Barwon, Goulburn, Kaiwat, King, Snowy, Werribee and Yarra Rivers. Emergency Management Victorian Deputy Commissioner said Victorians in flood risk areas need to prepare for up to 72 hours of isolation. And a key message, make sure it's not just yourself but your neighbours that you have got provisions for, including pets and medical. Melbourne is also expected to be hit hard by heavy rain Thursday. Create an emergency plan. Keep updated with the latest advice and make sure that you've got a support network to keep safe. Chief Officer of the Operations State Emergency Services Victoria said people should avoid driving across the northern parts of the state. Now we have a look at the winds, 850 millibar level. Information, bottom of the screen. The wind speed is measured in knots, and the deep low pressure system down there in the Great Australian Bight, I think it's down to about 970, 980 millibars. And the winds, the clockwise winds, out to 600 nautical miles. We will continue to bring the latest information, whether either via live streaming, our automated streaming service, or the video update. Some interesting reports in Australia's media. And one of my favourite sources of information is weatherzone.com.au. 45 to 70 millimetres of rain forecast for Melbourne. But what does that actually mean? Melbourne's wettest October day on record produced 61.4 millimetres of rain in 24 hours. This Thursday, the Bureau is forecasting a possible rainfall range of 45 to 70 millimetres. So, is Melbourne about to register a new October daily rainfall record? At first glance, it may seem that Melbourne has a good chance of receiving close to 70 millimetres on Thursday. After all, the number is right there in the forecast. The information on the screen is from 10 a.m. through to 2200 hours. Now we have a look at the precipitation and low pressure, and I think this one is out to about 10 a.m. Friday. The possible rainfall range shown in the Bureau's forecast is often misunderstood, and the likelihood of receiving a higher amount in the range is lower than many people think. The possible rainfall range is based on probability. And we know that many people expect to see something and they miss out on it. What do they name it? Hit and misses. But this is another weather event to really take it seriously. We don't want any lives lost. I believe there was a life loss in New South Wales last week. Heavy to intense rainfall to impact northern Tasmania from tonight. And here's a look at the total precipitation GFS model. Actually, this is pressure. And you can clearly see what this low pressure system is going to do. It's going to track over towards the New Zealand region. And if you want updated information, you're invited to hook up with our automated stream that's coming up this afternoon on our local channel. We also have activity up there in the Westpac